Welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view, from the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado. Hosted by Art Carlson. At 4'6", liberals fear him, and conservatives love him. He's definitely a giant among men. Now here's your host, Art Carlson.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got a lot to talk about. Sorry about not being here last week. Lloyd was under the weather. For those of you who don't know, he uh, he got the coronavirus. Yeah, he got the what was it? The Omicron. And the last time I spoke to him, he said he was still not quite 100%. And also, I was booked on another show at the same time. So I was over at Drone Seekers International. So, and then after that, I went to my birthday dinner at Texas Roadhouse with my sister, my niece, and her family. So had a great time last week. So we're back in the saddle again this week. Let's see if well, it looks like I'm going solo today because Lloyd is not here. I sent him the link. Mike's not here. He's probably still recovering from his party he had last night. They had a football get together, so they were probably watching the Packers 49ers game. And I was at a party last night, which was my birthday party that was moved to the following week because my favorite band was playing at a club closer to my house. So I had a great time last night. I watched the Packers implode and give a game away to the 49ers. So that's what's going on. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Biden's press conference that he gave last week. And it was the first one he gave in almost a year, which is very unusual, where uh, Trump gave a lot of press conferences, especially during the pandemic. And some of the things he said, like, what? Did he really say that? It is just nuts. The guy is off the rails. He's losing it. He's losing it. And one of the things he talked about was how George Floyd was more influential than Martin Luther King. Huh? What are you talking about? George Floyd was a thug who was tragically killed by a cop who was, you know, I mean, the guy was in the wrong. He screwed up. I mean, you're right, Mason. It was a 2 hour, and then there was a time where he got like it was over 2 minutes where he just lost his place. He just fumbled and mumbled, and it was like, huh? What? So one of the other whoppers they told was the Build Back Better will actually lower the deficit. What? Are you kidding me? That is nuts. The Build Back Better is like $5 trillion. How is that going to lower the deficit? He's nuts. He's crazy. And so those were the big whoppers they told. And it's just amazing how much he just flipping lied. And then after the press conference, his press secretary, Peppermint Patty, had to backpedal on just about everything they said. Oh, one of the big whoppers they told, he pretty much gave the Russians a green light to invade the Ukraine. And it was like, you gotta be kidding. How could you say that? That was just stupid. That was the dumbest thing I ever heard a president ever. Yes, you're right, Mason. He could invade just a little bit. A minor incursion would be okay. Yeah, if you take maybe if you go into Donetsk, that would be fine. Oh, wait a minute, Donetsk, that's already under Russian control. When the last invasion, uh, prior to Donald Trump taking over, this was during the Obama administration, where the Russians not only took the Don region in the Ukraine, but they took the Crimea Peninsula from the Ukrainians. And I think that's where the Ukrainians they screwed up by handing over the Russians their nuclear weapons when the Russian Federation uh, fell apart. I think they should have not only kept those nuclear weapons, they should have kept the fleet, the Black Sea Fleet. And that would have deterred the Russians from ever invading Ukraine. And the thing about it is, Putin, he's ex KGB, and he's going to be turning 70 years old pretty soon here. And one of his legacies is he wants to restore the old Soviet Union. So he's already got all the Asian republics, and right now he's got Kazakhstan. They're in turmoil there. They're saying the president gave shoot to kill orders for anybody protesting in the capital or anywhere in the country, which is just mind boggling. And so I think their incursion in the Ukraine is just the first step. They want to take back the Ukraine. They'll easily take Belarus. They're already. I mean, they're so corrupt that they've got autocratic leader there anyway. Yes, Chris, I believe Lloyd is still under the weather. I sent him a link. He never got back to me, so he's probably still taking a nap. Yeah. And I would imagine in about 20 minutes, so we'll be halfway through this show, and he'll wake up and he'll go, "Oh crap, that's an art show." But Chris, thanks for coming. It's good to see you, and we got Chris Wedgeworth because he gives all his wedges a lot of worth. So, and then we got Mason Kaiser, who abdicated. No, and Doc Murdoch, which is Chris Haley. So, Chris, how's the renovation? Are you all finished with the house renovations? So hopefully that's going smoothly. And thanks for coming to my show last night. And it was good to see you. We had a good crowd last night. Why we're at 0? Okay, I'm back over here on my channel. Wow, I think YouTube is screwing around with my channel because it shows I have one person watching when I have 3 people in the chat. How does that happen? So hopefully maybe Mike will jump in a little later. All right, getting back to Russia. Eventually they'll want back the Baltic countries. because those countries are doing very well economically. And the Russian Federation, they really don't have any trade going. The only thing they've got that's sustaining their economy is natural gas and oil. And that is why our illustrious president decided, you know what, we'll stop our pipeline, but for the Russians, yeah, go ahead and we, we want to curb uh, climate change here, but it's okay for the Russians to send their hydrocarbons or their carbon energy to Europe. So, okay, so he's moving. Finishing the move out of the old house, got a little more pack out. New house is livable, but I have about another week. Okay, cool. All right, and Mike, Tech Sart Drone Guy, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. So, yep, that's right, Mason. They do have all the oil they need to invade, and uh, we went from being a energy independent to energy dependent. Oh, and what was it that? Oh God, I had a thought in a squirrel moment, and it went away from me. It was something about energy. Uh, okay, well, it'll come back to me in a second. But that was just some of the dumb things. Anybody in the chat, have you guys watched any or part of the press conference? The only thing I got is what I've heard from the talk shows all this week, and no, I just really don't have the stomach to sit down and listen to 2 hours of an old doddering fool go on and on and on. And about he's trying to get this voting rights legislation. Wait a minute. I think that already passed in 1964. It was the Voting Rights Act. But what's different about this is they want to federalize how elections are done, which is totally unconstitutional because it says in the Constitution that elections are up to the states. They could do, yep, it did fail because of uh, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, and they stepped up. They stopped it, and the sad thing is, the Democrats in Arizona have censured Kristen Sinema. So she'll probably be primaried next time her election comes around. I think she still has another 4 years to go on her term, but we'll see how all that turns out. So, and the other thing is he wants to do away with the filibuster. And what gets me is Chuck Schumer said, "Well, we only want to use it just this one time." It's kind of like a guy telling his girlfriend, "I'll only stick it in part way," and you know how that goes. So, yep, that's yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it uh, because she's the tie-breaking vote. So if it's a 50-50, she's the tiebreaker. But it ended up being what is it, 50, 52-48? Yeah, that's how it went down. So, uh, and then I guess yesterday or the day before, um, yeah, that's right, Mason. Back in the day, back in 2005, even Barack Obama, when he was a senator, he talked about how important the filibuster was to protect the rights of the minority. And that's what the filibuster is about. Okay, here's the deal. Here is how the two houses, parts of Congress work. Okay, the House is the people's house. That they are, well, back in the day, they were directly elected by the folks in their district. Originally, the Senate was uh, senators were appointed from each state legislature, which I think now they should repeal the 17th Amendment and go back to that. But here's the reason why they did that. The Senate was put into place, was set up to slow down legislation because they were worried that the House would just run through something crazy and the Senate would just rubber stamp it and then it go on to the president. So the Senate is the way it's set up is to slow down legislation to where excuse and they debate the bill, they amend the bill, or they say, we like these parts, but it's not going to pass, so they'll send it back to the House and say, if you get rid of this stuff and bring it back to us, or you bring give us something better for us to work with, we'll vote on. So, and that's how that works. So they want to get rid of the filibuster because what they want to do is they want to ram through all this crazy shit, I call it, and they want to get this voter. Yes, that's you are correct, Chris. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then they want to federalize elections, and they also want to get rid of the filibuster. And also with the filibuster, and if they get through all the stuff, then they'll be able to pack the Supreme Court. And you know what's going to happen is they're going to appoint 4 liberal justices to overcome the majority that's already there right now. So it's just crazy how. Uh, oh, and if you listen to Biden's speech down in Georgia, where he compared people, if you don't like this legislation, you're a Bull Connor or George Wallace. Let me think. Oh yeah, they were Democrats. So Yes, yeah, that's what they're going to try and do. Is they're going to try and break up parts of the bill and push it through, and hopefully this will get stalled long enough for the midterms to come around, because the Democrats, they're going to get yeah, that's right, Jim Crow, which is ironic because we have a state rep, we got a representative from Colorado, Jason Crow, who, by the way, was the manager of the Trump impeachment. And the sad thing is, this guy is an ex-Army Ranger. I'm like, going, wait a minute, here you are, you're a Ranger, you swore an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution, but everything you advocate goes against the Constitution. So, yeah. And that's what's going on. So Biden, he's in full panic mode. He gave another press conference just recently where someone from a right leaning organization or media asked him a question. He goes, if you go back and look at what I said, and I saw this on Fox, and you know what? He went back to what he said, and he did say all those things, which is, and that just tells me how his memory is failing him, and he's, yep, that's right. And you know, and all this uh, stuff about democracy, it's to help. We're not a democracy. We are a republic with democrat institutions. We are. I mean, if you look at the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, nowhere in there it says anything about democracy. Hey, Robert, I gotta get a drink. Yes, that's right, Mason. He also said to that reporter, "You became a reporter because you liked her." Right. Well, I mean, that's what a reporter does. A reporter is supposed to report. And this gets me on another tangent. I had another thought, and every time I'm about ready to say something, it just goes away. It's uh, yeah, and this is what I would like to. Yeah, yes, democracy is just a, yeah. We all saw what happened in Greece, ancient Greece and ancient Rome, when they had pure democracy. Then people vote all the goodies that they want. And that's why we have all these entitlements that are about to implode on our economy and collapse our country. So, so let's get on to our next subject, which is the Edelman Trust Barometer. And I heard about this on one of the talk shows the other night. And boy, trust is at an all time low here in the United States. I mean, especially the trust in media. It's like, well, when you have a media that's all, well, 80-90% one-sided, and doesn't doesn't report instead of advocating. What I would like to see is I would like to see universities go back to their J schools and go back to what journalism was about. It was about reporting the facts and not uh, activism. That should be a totally different course, separate from journalism. So if we did that, then maybe we could turn the media around. Maybe people would start trusting the media. Even uh, trust in charities and NGOs are at an all-time low. Even trust in our government is at an all-time low. That's yep, yep. You're right. You are absolutely right, Mason. It's all one-sided, and now people are starting to trust businesses more. Although the tech uh, businesses are at an all-time low. Companies like Microsoft, uh, Twitter, Google, and those corporations, uh, they're at an all-time low. So it's just amazing how people are over time losing their faith in the institutions where 40, 50 years ago, people, when we had three major networks, I mean, they told you like it is. And the day that it started to change was when Walter Cronkite came out and said, the war is lost. Yep. And because, well, I mean, the government kept telling us, hey, we're killing a lot of enemy troops. And in fact, they were, because if you look at the casualty rate, uh, our casualties compared to our enemies, I mean, they lost 500,000 people, where we only lost about 53, 55,000. I mean, the ratio is just staggering. But that was a different kind of warfare. It wasn't like uh, all out war like World War II was, and to most extent the Korean War. After the Korean War, uh, tactics changed. It went from being out on the battlefield with uniforms, and now it's dissolved into terrorism, where the bad guys are using women and children as human shields, and sadly, those women and children volunteered to be human shields, which is I think it's just a crappy thing to do. So, and so what else? Let's just so if you go to just go to edelman.com/trust/2021, and it'll give you a whole lot of information on what's going on. Like Oh, it breaks it down to trust in institutional investors, beliefs in driven employee, uh, racism, uh, trust the new brand, equity, business and racial justice, trust in the coronavirus in the US, trust in financial services, trust in food and beverage, trust healthcare and technology. And it breaks it down by country like Australia, Canada, Germany, India, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, all the way down to the United States. So, I mean, this is a great site. If you want to get a lot of information on what's going on in the world, this really gives you an insight into what's going on. Yep, yep, you're right. Almost 2 million. Yep, yep. And then we find out decades later we were like 2 weeks away from winning that war. I mean, we would just waited just a couple more weeks. I think they would just surrender, and that would have been the yep. Oh, now I know what I wanted to say was he said the build back better. I may have already said this was it will lower the deficit. Yeah, I think I already talked about that, and it'll lower the deficit. It won't cost any money. Yeah, uh, eh, which goes into inflation. The reason we have all this inflation was, during the pandemic when they decided to shut down the economy, and then somebody had the bright idea in the Trump administration. You know what? We ought to help these folks out. We pretty much killed our economy, so let's pump some money in by giving everybody $1,200. So we got not one, not two, but we got three stimulus checks. And that's what ballooned the deficit during the Trump administration. Everybody wants to put the blame all on Trump about the deficit getting out of control. And I mean, yes, he and the Republicans are partially, uh, to blame for this. But we were in uncharted waters where we had this worldwide pandemic that decimated economies all over the world. And and that's why they thought, well, this will kickstart the economy. Well, the economy was humming along and it was recovering right up until Biden got elected. And then he started to reverse everything Trump did, but he wanted to kick into overdrive the spending. And that's what really caused inflation to take off. Hold on. And so we got inflation, last I heard, I think for excuse me, 7%. I mean, I grew up during the 70s when we had inflation, double digit inflation. And you know what Ronald Reagan did? Is he to bring inflation under control is they upped the interest rates at the Fed, and they lowered the rate of spending. And that's what brought inflation under control. What inflation is too many dollars chasing fewer goods. And what I would like to see is if we win both houses, I would like to see what the Republicans did back in '94 with welfare reform, and start uh, taking all these redundant agencies and merge them together and start cutting out some of the fat. Lower the bureaucracy, and then you'll lower the costs, and that way we don't have money just flowing out and without much to show for. Well, congratulations. Oh, it says you had to. It said I had passing. Oh, good, good. Congratulations. So, yeah, the Republicans would do that, and then start to uh, get a handle on how much we spend on government. And one of the things that I think would really help out, especially with Social Security, which is on the verge of, well, it's already bankrupt because we're taking more money out than what we have in there because of what happened under LBJ. Because originally, Social Security was separate from the general fund. And then they decided, oh, you know what? If we put it in here, then it'll make the books look better. So, what I would like to see is new the younger people. What they'll do is they'll do a private um, pension fund or like a 401k. Then eventually, when us old farts die off, everybody will be on their own pension fund or 401k, which, by the way, will grow the stock market like you wouldn't believe. Because then you got more capital instead going to government. That capital goes to companies to form new businesses to make better um, product innovation to help grow the economy. And that's what George W. Bush was trying to do, but idiots in his own party didn't want to do that because they happen to be in swing districts, and they didn't want to piss off the people in their district. I don't have a 402. Well, and here's what the Democrats are trying to do is they want to tax your 401k. And okay, take care, Chris. We'll catch you next time. 401. Yeah, that's right, mate. And I have a 401k, and I got maybe a few more years to to keep it growing. It depends on how it goes here. My rent is just going crazy. In the last 2 years, my rent has gone up uh $560, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy how it's doing. I'm gonna go over and okay. Let's see. Hmm. Well, Jaybird's having a hard time trying to get in the chat, but okay. Oh, I know what I gotta do. Well, after the show, I will unblock. Yeah, Mason, I just turned 62, and because I am disabled, if I wanted to, I could go on disability and I could get about 90% of what I would get at 66, 67. But if I do that, then I don't want to stay here in Colorado. It's getting really expensive to live here. So I've been looking at homes in Tennessee and Kentucky where the cost of living is lower. And well, Tennessee doesn't have a state income tax, which will help. And plus, uh, I was looking at some homes where like $80,000 home, and their property taxes are incredibly cheap. Where here in Colorado, it's uh, well over $1,000 a year for, and it's just crazy. And I've also been looking into Wyoming, but I'm getting old and I'm really hating cold weather, and I kind of want to be where the weather is a little better. Uh, Tennessee does have seasons, kind of like here in Colorado, but the thing I like about Tennessee is I get in the wintertime I get zip down to Florida and do some fishing from my fishing channel. And then in the summertime I go north to Michigan, visit my high school friend. Yep, that's right. Here in the Denver area, it's over $2,000 for a two-bedroom house. If you wanted a house, now an apartment is pushing $1,500 to $1,700 a month, and that would be pretty much all the money that I earn from the job that I work. So right now, my rent is about 65% of my monthly income, which I think it should be well lower than that. But I did get a nice raise this year, which is really helping me out. So, so 22 is going to be. Oh, we'll see you, Chris. You'll be 62 next month. Chris Wedge. So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out here in 22. Already, and just like I predicted a couple weeks ago, I said that Ed Perlmutter would drop out, not quite the way I thought it would be, but he decided he wasn't going to seek reelection. So that seat is open, and already we have one Democrat contender that I know of, which is Brittany Pedersen, she was a state representative and very liberal. And we have three people on the Republican side running. We have Laurel Eimer, nice lady, but I think she's just too conservative for this district because of redistricting. The seventh district where I live is now uh, evenly split, and I think that's why Perlmutter decided to retire rather than get defeated in November. So we have Laurel Emer, we have Colin Larson. He's a state rep, good guy. Met him a couple times. And then we have Eric Odlin, who was running for Senate, dropped out, and he's running for in CD7. And what I'm worried about in that race is Colin and Eric splitting the vote, and then Laurel Eimer wins, and then she gets defeated by the Democrat. But we have a good shot at winning District 7, and it'd be great. And then we have a new district here in Colorado. We now have 8 congressional seats, and even that district is pretty evenly split. So we have a whole ton of Democrats and a whole bunch of Republicans. So the primary season here is going to be very interesting. Mike says he's going to be retiring in 32 days. Well, congratulations, Mike. I hope you have everything all set up and have your house paid off. And he lives in Texas, and I met him at the 2019 spin up, and then I saw him again in Florida and at spin up last year. Yep. So my other option about retiring is I could go to the Philippines, retire there. I could rent a 3-bedroom house for $400 a month. I mean, and the only big expense in the Philippines is electricity, because they don't have a really good electrical grid there, because they are prone to what's called brownouts, where electricity shuts off for several hours. And usually you will know when the brownouts are going to be, because you've been to the Philippines, especially in big cities, you'll see a lot of electrical lines overhead. I mean, it looks like, uh, like telephone poles with all these wires going all over the place. Kind of looks like the United States in Chicago or New York at the turn of the century, where we had phone electrical lines going all over the place. So that's the downside to that. And plus, you have typhoons and hot there. And where my girlfriend lives, she lives in the southern end of the country, but fortunately, she's on the north side of Mindanao, so she's sort of situated to where uh, she lives. She doesn't get the brunt of the typhoon. I mean, she'll get the storm surge and a lot of rain. Where if you watch my Saturday show with James Tanner, and he did the smart thing by he bought some property that's in between two mountain ranges in a high plateau. So he's at 1,000 feet above sea level, where it doesn't get as hot as it would be if you lived down by the ocean. And any typhoons that go through, uh, they'll get a lot of wind. They'll get 100 plus miles an hour wind, but uh, not as much damage. Uh, But he has to worry about. And oh, another bad thing is you got volcanoes, you got earthquakes going on, and that's what's going on. I mean, it's a beautiful country, but it's you gotta remember it's a developing country, and there's a lot of poverty there. And depending on where you live, there's a lot of crime, and the best place to live would be in a gated community where you'd have that added security. Uh, you look at a lot of homes around there; they have these high cement or fences around their property with razor wire or embedded broken glass and cement on the top of those fences. Let's keep the riffraff out. Yep. Oh yeah, South Korea. Yep. But at least in the Philippines, it gave me a lot of opportunities to do a lot of fishing, and I could fly my drones, and oh, and that's the other thing is well, their internet is actually better than what it is in Australia. I mean, you can get high speed internet in the Philippines. You can get fiber there, where in Australia, I mean, you're lucky if you could get fiber there. But food is inexpensive. The other thing is, if you've ever driven over there, they're kind of crazy when it comes to driving. Oh, so Mason, you're 60 miles south of St. Lucie. Okay, okay. Uh, Back when I did stand up comedy, I performed at a club that was near East St. Louis in Illinois, in Belleville, Illinois, at a place called Comedy Etc. And that was a fun club. And worked there a couple times. And I have a video of me working there on in my archive. If you go and check that out on either this channel or on my fishing channel. Yes, that's right, and that's the thing that I worry about retiring is like, well, then you're stuck with that. But if uh, if you have a nice 401k and then you roll it into a Roth IRA, and then you could take some of that income and put it into a money market that's continually generating income. Well, you know, you're not going to run out of money, which is a good thing. And that's something I'm going to have to look at pretty quickly. So, and that's about it. We lost a couple uh, celebrities in the last couple of days. We lost Meatloaf, and then we lost Louis Anderson. By the way, I had the pleasure of performing with him at the Comedy Works here in Denver. very, very funny guy and very nice guy. Really liked working. Oh yeah, that's right. Belleville is, yep. And Betty White, I thought she was, her birthday was uh this past week. She would have been 100 years old too, and I thought she was gonna make it. And Bob Saget. I mean, that was unexpected because the guy was, what, 65 years old, and he looked like he was in really good health. So I'm guessing he either had a massive stroke, heart attack, or an aortic embolism, where his aortic valve just, like what happened with John Ritter. And uh, that could have happened while he was sleeping. So we lost a lot of really good talent recently. Sidney Poitier, he was 94 years old. 94. And who's still alive is Larry Storch. If you remember the show called F Troop, yeah, he's 99 years old and still kicking. So anyway, folks, thank you for coming to the show, even though I'm shorthanded and I'm surprised I got to bloviate for a whole hour. I haven't done that in a long time. When I started this channel in 2011, it was a internet radio show. I did a 3-hour show every week, and I did a lot of bloviating. But at least there, I had a lot of guests come on the show, like former Congressman Bob Beaupre, uh, Ken Buck when he was running for Senate, who's now a congressman from Colorado in the 4th District, and several other great guests on there. So thank you all in the chat. Thanks for coming. Tell your friends about this channel. Let's spread the news. Say, hey, there's this great guy on Sunday afternoons, and he's got some really good content. So let's get this up. I want to, for 2022, I want this channel to surpass 200 subscribers. Let's get this to 1,000. That would be awesome. You guys are awesome. Take care. God bless you, and see you next week. Bye bye.